Hello and welcome everybody to the Thursday edition of Chart Request Live. I'm your host, Steve Straz. I'm the Director of Research at All Star Charts, joined as always by my esteemed co-host and friend, Patrick Dunaway of the Chart Report. Hi, Pat.
How you doing today?
Doing good, man. You know, before we get into it, I want you to just draw for everybody. You're close here. What the failed breakout that everyone and their mother is going to be tweeting on Twitter if we get another down day in the market. So this is the S&P 500. How might that look, Pat?
I mean, we have it right here. So I'd say, I'd actually probably use these little early, year-to-date lows, I guess, as kind of your confirmation. If you get a close below there, that's a failed breakout. But Steve, did you notice how bearish everyone got? And we didn't even get a 2% drawdown yesterday. We didn't even get a 2% decline. And people are so quick to get bearish. So, there's talk of is sentiment too bullish out there, but if a 2%, if a 1.5% decline gets people that bearish, I think we're a long way from euphoria. We haven't had a 2% decline this whole time since the October lows.
I agree. But these charts will be circulated. They're going to draw them up in the scariest way they can. And we'll probably look back, even if that even happens, we'll probably look back in a few weeks and say it was just a false start. Like we've seen with so many others that were close to breaking out, took a little bit of time to absorb some of that overhead supply, and then eventually got it done.
But Steve, that's the point, is it wasn't even a false start. We didn't even get a failed breakdown yet. But even myself, we're so quick to get scared of a failed breakdown. I think that's kind of the bullish takeaway from what we've seen these last 2 days.
Yep.
But we'll see. We'll see if we can make a new high from here.
Right. So talking about failed breakouts, another thing just want to mention at the top of the show quickly before we dive in, throw up KRE, QABA, choose your fighter, KBE.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yesterday was what, the worst day in a while for KRE.
So it's the worst day since, right? Whenever we play that game, worst day since. Tends to be something worth paying attention to. A little downside momentum thrust here over the past 2 days. On a back-to-back, sell-off basis, right? So like a 2-day rate of change basis, you have to go back to the Silicon Valley bank blow-up days in March of last year. Yeah, so you could see them there, right? March.
Yeah, this is a 1-day rate of change, but I'll change it to 2 here.
But you see those spikes back in March and May? It was Silicon Valley was March, and then First Republic was May. So yeah. Will we look back and say New York Community Bank, or I'm hearing some things about Western Alliance as well? Will we look back and say this was the NYCB, sell-off? I don't know. But
yeah, I mean, Steve, it looks like worst 2-day decline since March. You're right. Yeah, your eye's good.
Yeah, I wouldn't lie to you guys. So what I'm noticing,
the day isn't over yet, so we'll see. We'll see. It is nicely off its lows. So
took the words right out of my mouth. Right. So already some nice lower shadows coming off the lows. It's almost as if investors are buying these banks like they've seen this story before.
Yeah, it sure is.
Let's see how it goes today, and more importantly, tomorrow, before we all go crazy about another banking panic. Right.
Yeah. And it's too bad, financials were, and they still are, looking really strong.
So good.
Yeah.
Earlier this week, I was talking all about them. A lot of the progress, even that the big money center banks made. Throw up JP Morgan real quick.
Yeah.
You had that just massive bullish candlestick. You don't want to see this get failed breaky on you, right?
No, but it's still holding, it's still hanging in there. But it does look scary. I don't like this here, but
yeah.
I mean, I think if there's one thing we learned in the last 2 months, it's these bearish divergences can keep going for a while. Sure. They can look really scary, but usually the first few bearish divergences aren't the one. It's again, we're just breaking out of a huge base.
Let's hit the chat. What do you say?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, MVT, Hansen, 6-month time frame.
All right, MVT.
Again, thank you always for the time frames and any added color you can give us. It just helps us help you.
Absolutely, yeah. And this is a nice setup here. And yeah, at first I thought this was a weekly because it looks so clean, but This is a daily, and looks like you had a peak here in, what was that? September, right around 59, I would say is your level, and then kind of had a false start, if you want to call it, or just messy action absorbing that overhead supply from September, and then here these last few days, this week, really, we're getting the breakout here. I think you fib it out here for the target, but by the way, beautiful primary uptrend here. Gets you around $67 for your price target. So it's kind of tough here. Maybe if you haven't bought already, maybe wait for a pullback to 58 to get involved. Because you're kind of like, a third of the way there. So it's tricky if you're getting in here, but your risk level's pretty clear. You could, be long all the way down to like 57. And 67 is your target. Yeah.
I really like this one. And we were just talking offline about some of these electrical or electronic component stocks.
Yeah.
Talking about Encore, ticker symbol WIRE. This
Yeah.
one's a lot like it, doesn't it?
Well, and the weird thing about this one was, and like, tell me if I'm missing something, because short interest was 26.5% when this thing broke out right here,
You're
at
about
two
WIRE.
all-time highs.
Talking about WIRE now.
Yeah, yeah. I know you look at short interest a lot. Do you see scenarios like that? Very like,
Yeah, this one's been on our short squeeze or freshly squeezed list. Sam was just yelling at me because I was like, guys, did we miss this? He's like, dude, I've been pounding the table on. I'm like, pound harder next time. 'Cause I didn't hear you. But it's got like 18 days to cover on top of the 20 something percent short interest. So we sort the table by both, just percentage of shares outstanding, short, and then which is the short interest, and then also the days to cover ratio. Because I think that gives you a little bit more information about how the squeeze might look once it gets started, right?
because that kind of tells you relative to the float. Is that why?
Yeah, because if there's not enough volume or liquidity in the name, then the days to cover might be, 10 days, which tells you that it's going to take these shorts like 2 weeks to cover. And you're going to get some like volume explosions or some unusual volume and some really big green bars while that happens. So wire really trading at new highs with a short interest and a days to cover ratio like that, kind of rare. So unique, a unique short squeeze situation here. And you're seeing it. This thing's a secular leader, so I don't know who's betting against it, but we're getting
Yeah,
off track here.
they're in pain though. So what do we got next?
CHWY,
Chewy.
Jonathan, I just got my CHWY order this morning. I am stopping myself out below the low at 1650, but realistically, what is your assessment and would you even still bother to be long now or take my small loss and move on? Disclaimer, I was never long. This is more a question for JC. I think he took a shot at it, but I believe he's already been stopped out. And just something on that, Pat, if we could just
Yeah,
talk quick. I got
absolutely.
a note the other day, said something like, "Oh, Patrick is just taking profits in this name. You guys are just getting long." Right. Good. This morning getting messages, JC's bearish. Are you still bullish? Right. Okay. So we're not like if you ever watched Power Rangers as a kid, like the Megazord or whatever.
Oh, I watched Power Rangers.
The Power Rangers all like combined to become one giant Power Ranger. We're not that. Like our analyst team, all the different brands, that we have, we don't strive for consensus. In fact, we strive for the opposite, right? We want to be challenged. We want people to have different opinions. And 95% of the time, we all do agree. When we don't, it's kind of fun for us. So get used to that. You don't have to keep asking us. Yes, we do all have our own opinions. We're our own human beings. And I hope it stays that way.
Oh,
So
it's fun to argue with you on these things too. I like when we disagree, although we don't get to do it very often because we see things very similar
yeah.
a lot of times.
So CHWY,
We already got our levels in here. I mean, this is another one of those that we look at probably once a week, right?
I love the line chart. I love what you've done here.
Yeah, I mean, it's just perfect symmetry, right? These were the IPO lows.
Oh, good. Yeah.
2022 lows. We tried to get over them and couldn't, and that was a clear rejection right there. So he was saying new lows is
He just said, would you even be in it anymore? I think he had his stop at those pivot lows, 1650.
now I wouldn't be in this. I think it makes sense to put your stop there. I get it, but you're probably, if it does reverse higher, it'll probably undercut that low first. That's what you see a lot of times. And what you want to watch for is RSI to not make a new low here. That's a bullish divergence. And then you want to see it give you some sort of confirmation, either breaking above this high, some sort of sign that it's reversing before you get back in. So
you could have
yeah.
literally been out of this one on that second red weekly candle, right? So when
Hmm.
you see, we launched through 20 a few weeks ago, and there was no follow through at all. For a
Yeah.
setup like this, if it doesn't go, you don't want it, right?
Right.
So yeah, you want to keep this one pretty tight. I'm with you. Okay, next. That's it for the ooh, we got a wavy here. Wavy.
Hey.
Wait, we got you, wavy. Okay. HMY for the rest of the year.
Oh,
Hey,
wow. Wow.
wow.
Hey, wavy. I'm writing this one down.
It's a no from me, dog.
Really? Oh, I know why.
Tell
I'm not even gonna ask you
him
why.
why.
Steve, his New Year's resolution is he's not gonna even talk about, look at, or have anything to do with gold
I'm,
miners.
I'm gonna go close my eyes. You want to take this one?
Yeah, but I like this base a lot. Um, Gold miners, I mean, gold has done poorly on a relative basis, and gold miners have underperformed gold even recently. So it's a tough pond for sure. But this one, I mean, it's a nice looking one for sure. You said the rest of the year?
Yeah.
You want to see it crack those 2020 highs here.
Yeah.
I would jump at say 750. Uh,
Yeah, but you get the breakout, right?
yeah,
Get the
yeah.
breakout. So AGI, if we could, we'll flip back to this because I know you're not done.
Oh
But
yeah, AGI. Yeah, let's look at that one too.
I'm having like PTSD about the trade that I tried to jump or the entry I tried to jump in AGI.
Oh,
Actually, I think actually I don't even jumped it. I didn't even have to jump it. It was a failed break. So throw it up, Alamos.
yeah, yeah.
So
And
now
this is weekly here.
fractal, zoom in. No, zoom in. It
Oh,
was yeah, it was that. It was that cup right there. Yep.
oh, this one. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, here, let
I
me,
was
let me
in
adjust.
it. I was stopped out in like 3 days. This was the leader.
Oh no. Yeah, this was it. This has been such a puzzling pocket of strength too, because it's like, the gold miners have been terrible, and then you get one like this where you're like, oh, okay, that doesn't look like the others. And same thing for HMY.
Nobody remembers. I always say, remember Kirkland Lake. Nobody remembers when I say Kirkland Lake. KL, look it up. For years, gold was in like a secular bear market. This stock was like one of the top performers.
Is it
Um,
delisted now?
market. No, it got acquired by Newmont or one of them. Basically, like
Oh,
they hit gold. They like had some sort of gold deposit that nobody thought would be what it was, and the stock went crazy. So you do get situations like that in this space. These guys are literally looking for a shiny metal in the ground, right? They
yeah.
don't know what's in there until they dig. Um, so you get that. I'll just say, as good as the spot markets might look, as well as gold is held up, despite real rates and what's been going on there, I think you need to get that participation from the miners, right? The
Hmm.
equities before you get too bullish on this class at all.
Yeah.
Like,
And this here is gold right here. This is what Steve was talking about,
oh,
looking
great.
pretty. It's trying again, but how many times have we seen this, Steve? It is the boy who cried wolf at this point.
The
Um,
miners should be working, and not even just the leaders. Like the miners have to be there. Then I feel a lot better about anything about precious metals.
yeah, yeah, and we can look at those real quick.
It's a great,
Just a
it's a
mess.
great name
Just
though. Great pattern in this harmony. I know it
yeah.
is.
No, it really is a very great structure, but I will point out though, like a lot of these things, oops, sometimes they can have kind of histories of fail breakout. If you look at like prior bases, like this one here, you can see that base didn't really work out too well. You got the breakout for what, a couple months actually before it really broke down. But if you bought that breakout, you really didn't get too much. Well, I guess you got four. Yeah, yeah. I forgot how small of a stock this is. So small move is
How,
like
how, how small are we
30%.
talking? How small?
450. So like a move from 450 to $7, that's still 70%. So I was gonna
Yeah.
say it wasn't much, but that's something.
They just cracked $1 billion market cap. So good for you, Harmony Gold. All right,
Yeah.
let's work through these things because we screwed everybody in the chat on Tuesday. Let's
Yeah,
try to
let's
hit them all today. Sambo, starting off in the chat from the top OSCR. Is this healthcare?
Oh yeah, so this is one that we got long in the buzz. So Jared Kushner, Ivanka's husband?
I do. I know Jared well. We play golf all the time.
His little brother started this company. Um,
Ah,
so it's a healthcare company, I think some, tech healthcare. But this one, I really like this setup, Steve. We got long at $10. So this one, and you could see, I mean, it's just a clear. There's your level right there. Uh,
it's a really nice base, huh?
Very clean. Yeah, and it's kind of got the all the ingredients for like a Head and Shoulders too.
Yep.
I know both of us don't get too caught up in the names of the patterns, but it's
I
there,
love
and
the
I think that just kind of helps, right?
great shampoo.
Fantastic. So this one, yeah, I think you want to play this one all the way back to all-time highs, but I will say to be more tactical about it, fib it out here. Maybe you take some off here at 15, the rest here at 20, but this thing to me just looks like, and also since it's IPO, it went straight down. And now it took 2 years to build this base. And that looks really solid to me.
And
So I think 15 you're looking at for your next stop, and then 23 here. If it goes below 950, that's
yeah.
it. It didn't
And
work out.
And we have all these risk levels, right, on the chart with you using the retracements here. You got the breakout level drawn with the red triangle. These are
Yeah.
risk
Yeah.
levels. Who are you? What are your risk preferences, right? What's your risk tolerance? What's your time frame? What are your goals on this trade? Okay. Maybe you want to run it back to those old all-time highs and you have a time frame, in excess of a year, maybe several years. Maybe 15 is your confirmation. That's
Yeah.
where you add the other half of your position,
That
right?
that's a great point. Yeah. I mean, I'm telling you how I would do it, but it's totally, you got to make the trade your own. I think that's a Brian Shannonism, maybe.
Yeah. So these are
Uh,
simply levels that we expect the market to react at, right? Whether it's digest, roll over, whatever. That's why we'll use them to feed the ducks. We'll also use them to scale in more or finish building a position, right? So it's get used to thinking of it in that way. Just
yeah.
like just like the example from before, Pat, you were taking profits out of Fibonacci extension. We were just getting involved. It's
Yeah.
because it's a risk level, right? We want to play it in either way off of that level.
Right. And at its core, a lot of us get confused. Technical analysis is not a prediction tool. It's for risk management, right? That's what this is all about. That's a great point you made there. And I'll stay on this for just a second. You got three reasons why this is an important level, this 15. One, it's a nice round psychological number. Two, you got this gap here from earnings, and that's a nasty gap there. And that could cause some pressure. And then you also have Fibonacci level there. So three reasons why that's an important level. That being said, I don't know that there's resistance there. If it breaks above it, that would be very, very bullish, right? It cleared that overhead supply. Something has changed. So
There's
it's just an important level, right?
there's information in the reaction at these levels
Exactly. Yeah.
too, right?
Yeah.
If you see something blow right through a logical level that you might have expected for there to be resistance at, or it's a natural overhead supply zone, right? It's where prices peaked a year ago or whatever, and you blow right through it like it's not even there. It's not that technical analysis didn't work. It's that's a message, right? That
Right.
there's overwhelming amount of demand at this level where there was extra supply coming in, and we didn't even, pause or skip a beat, right?
Right.
That speaks to the strength of the trend. So
Yeah.
they're talking your book with Oscar. Now Brad is talking my book with UI path. That's
Oh,
path.
what is it?
Path.
Oh, okay. What is this one?
They do user interface things. Don't ask too many questions.
Well, it looks like a lot of those like ARC stocks, right? Where it's kind of nasty,
Ah,
nasty decline.
nailed it.
Is
Path.
it? Is
You
it?
know what you're talking about, huh?
Is it an ARC stock?
Yeah. Big
Oh
one.
man.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh man. But I will say I like that it's actually holding above this. Some of those went back in, they're back in the penalty box, as you like to say. But this one holding it, there's information there. For your upside target, I would look for a fib.
So we came into this year, right? This base completed late last year. I got excited. I got involved, and then it's just been chop, 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 right? Still
Yeah.
above the base breakout level, still intact. We shook a little bit. If you look at the daily, there's a nice gap there. We kind of shook into it, recovered. What stocks are working? Tech stocks. Specifically, which tech stocks? The biggest ones, the ones that were working the most last year. They keep working, right? ServiceNow, Uber, NVIDIA, Broadcom. That's the place to be. These ARChy stocks, down the cap scale in tech, they had a great Q4 rally coming off the late October lows. These were some of the best stocks, the ARChy names, right? And then it's just been nothing this year. I would think as the bull market rages on and those rotational tailwinds continue to occur, that this group gets some love again, right?
Yeah.
Biotechs will get some love again. The banks will get some love again. The real estate stocks will get some love again, right? The
Yeah.
high duration growth stocks, I think, will have their moment again. And when they do, I'm looking for the next leg up from this one.
Yeah. It has been a frustrating go for these. It just seems like there's just so many starts and stops, starts and stops. Um, but though that's kind of how the best trends develop is that frustrating process.
Yeah.
Because then everyone gives up and there's no sellers left. So I would look at 29 as a short-term price target here because you have this gap here, like we talked about with the last one. A lot of
Yeah.
times when it returns, when it fills that gap, you get some selling pressure from those people that were totally caught off guard by that
I like
gap.
that.
So, I mean,
And
that's
that's
a
a decent trade too.
25.
That should get you
Yeah,
25, 30% from current prices. Yeah, not
yeah,
bad.
yeah.
Hold on, I'm just checking on my crypto miners here. Okay, good.
Dude, look at that. Look at that clean breakaway gap.
Oh, I love that. That's why I
Oh,
got involved.
oh, nice.
Right?
Maybe we looked at this one before too.
Listen, I like it when they break out with authority.
Yeah,
Right? Like we use the word decisive a lot in our writing, right? Because
yeah,
you know something's a decisive resolution when you see it.
right.
And a breakaway gap like that, against a key level, on the heels of earnings, love
Let
to
me
see.
ask you this. Would you
Yeah.
call the breakout in the broader market decisive yet?
Broader market's tough, right? Because you don't get gaps and wide bodied candles like you do in the individual names.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, you had a gap here on a weekly. That's
I think here, Pat, you're right. I think it's been pretty damn decisive, right?
yeah.
So, some more than others. Like if you look at some of these candles in the semiconductors and the home builders, they definitely made decisive resolutions a while
Yeah.
ago, depending on what index, right? Like look at the home builders, the way they came through that and just didn't even look
But
back.
to your point, I wouldn't have said that they made decisive breakouts back when they failed. Like
No,
these were
no.
sketchy breakouts. Like this, yeah, we got an all-time high, but I mean,
It was
barely
that
a squint to see it, right?
It's that stick. What is that? Late December. No, it's that stick in late December. Go over. Go over. Keep right there.
Oh,
No,
this one.
no.
Oh,
Those three were big, but it's this one. Right there. Yeah.
that one.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, that's okay. I see what you're saying. That was the decisive confirmation candle. Yeah.
Because you dipped back in on the candle before. You dipped back in below the pivot highs. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Did a
yeah.
little tail
Yeah.
there,
You're right. Yeah.
and then they whipped it higher. So it's tough. It's tougher at the index level, but you're right. You could still see it. S&P, I don't know yet. I don't know.
Yeah, look at that. Just punched through for 3 days and then
Yep.
ripped. Wow.
And we use stuff like when we say decisive breakup. Did RSI get overbought? Did the rate of change, the short-term rate of change blow out, right? And we're over here saying best day since. If you're saying the best day since on a breakout, it's decisive, right?
Yeah.
100%. If momentum's getting overbought, it's probably decisive. I just had another one too. What was I going to say? Totally forgetting now. I'm blanking.
You're on a roll.
Okay. All right, let's go. Okay. Thoughts on Palantir. Hey guys, thoughts on Palantir for a trade going into earnings on Monday? It's a tricky one, Pat.
Man, I remember a few months ago,
Oh,
everyone on FinTwit had this as their buy, including myself. I mean, we had it in the buzz, and this one would just failed. I'm sorry, what's the symbol?
PLTR.
PLTR. Yeah.
They either hate it or they love it. This one.
Yeah.
It's a polarizing name.
Oof.
You know?
What a frustrating 6 months it's been.
This looks DraftKings-ish to me.
Okay, wait. Well, let's pull that up real quick. How so?
Because it was one of the best performers in the first half of 2023. And then you got a lot of sideways. DraftKings, at least you got to step up. But right, you got that consolidation there. DraftKings.
Okay, so you're saying first half of 2023,
straight line higher.
Beautiful first half. Yeah, it went from 9 to 30.
Yep. And then choppy. Yes, you did get a step up, but still rangy, right? Now go look at Palantir. Look at what it did in the first half of 2023.
Oh, yeah, similar. Yeah.
Right up. And then second half of the year, yeah. I think the reversal's in, but you want some clear confirmation that we're out of the current range before you get involved.
Yeah, I mean, a 250% rally in a half a year.
And this is a big company. Let me check the market cap. But this is like it's an ARK stock, so people assume it's like a mid cap or something. It is not at all. Palantir, 36 billion. This is a big boy. It's a big boy. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So as far as this one goes, I mean, there is really nothing to do right now. It's in no man's land.
20? What is it, 20,
Yeah.
21?
Yeah, 20 is your level here. If it's above there, great, risk on. Then you play it back to this shelf over here around 27.
Yeah, I like that.
Until then, it's just chop, and you'll chop yourself up there.
Pat, what if we dropped a VWAP from the Q4 highs? Some people want to jump things. They want to jump their entries. That's a bull market. I support you.
Sure.
Jumping an entry.
Oh my gosh, look how relevant this is.
Yeah. So that's a good way to jump an entry.
Yeah, that's a great point there. Like you said, yeah, you're jumping. So it is early, but you know what you're doing in this scenario, and you still have a plan here because you have that VWAP as your confirmation, and then once you're in it, you use that as your risk level too. So
totally.
I like it.
And let's talk about why real quick. You're jumping it, but you're jumping it after you have conviction that buyers have taken control of the tactical trend, right? We're dropping a VWAP from pivot highs going a couple months back, right? Once that VWAP is recaptured, right, and price is above it, it's telling you buyers are in control of the short-term trend. We already know that the reversal is in and the primary trend is higher. We're worried about the short-term trend, right? So that's a really good logical way to jump it, and that's the rationale behind that, right? Buyers now in control of the short-term trend. We already know buyers are in control of the longer-term trend. Okay, are they going to run it back now?
Yeah. And for what it's worth, I think this level has been hit quite a few times. So you got to imagine it's getting weaker. You could also by doing that, you're kind of also making the bet that this will continue higher and eventually break this time. So, and I don't think that's a bad bet.
Merck.
All right.
Merck. I mean, this one is so good. I love it when the boring stocks just rock out like this.
Dude, this is a daily too.
This is today?
Yeah, that's today.
Because it came out hot, it came back, and now
dude, look at this. Look at yesterday's fake out. Just man. So basically, man, yeah, gapped up yesterday, gave it all back with the broader market, then 4% move. And like you were saying with Palantir, this is a big company. This is probably bigger than Palantir. This is
10 times bigger.
300, yeah, 300 billion. So yeah, you got, what is this, 7 month base here within a very secular uptrend.
Monthly. No, go out to the monthly.
Go out to a monthly. Oh my gosh. There you
Talked
go.
about this one before.
Yeah.
You people were drawing Merck like a short-term top. But if you only zoomed out and looked at this monthly chart and said to yourself, wow, so this is a 23-year base breakout, and then the first consolidation pattern that occurs is going to be a top that completes lower. What are the odds of that? Right. So
Right.
it did look really toppy throughout
Yeah.
2023. The rest of the market's ripping. Merck's printing this ugly topping formation. But if you zoom out, you say to yourself, this can't be a top. This trend has to continue coming out of a 25-year base, right? And what happens? The top
25-year
fails,
base.
and now we're off to the races. So I love this one. In terms of
Yeah.
Dow stocks, I mean, this is as good as it gets.
They still got this one in the Dow, huh?
Yeah, they took it. They kicked out the right one. Pfizer got the boot. Merck got to stay. So they're proving themselves now.
So yeah, you got the first Fibonacci level from the base. I gotta imagine that that's gonna come into play, but that's still decently higher here. Let me fix this. It's off the
Yeah, this
charts.
chart just looks so good.
Off the
At this
charts.
point, you want to buy on weakness, right? I mean,
Yeah,
back to what is it, 118?
yeah. 119.
Maybe you get it, maybe you don't. Healthcare stocks are so strong. The new highs list today, it's a sea of red out here in the market. New highs list is like all healthcare, a little bit of industrials trickled in there.
Yeah, I would be surprised if the train backs up here and lets you in. I think this
Yeah,
one's
I would.
coming. Yeah,
Listen, I'm with you. I agree. But also, like, do you want to enter here too? That's
yeah, it's tough. It's tough for
all right. Let's
sure.
let's move on from this one. That was a great one.
Yeah,
No need to go over the chart. You did it Tuesday. We do it every
we
new
did.
chart quiz. Strong earnings reaction. No, Alex, I'm glad we did go over it. I think you're in good hands with this uptrend in Merck. How about
I just
palladium?
forgot my
Nice, Kirby. Listen, I said never precious metals, so they just ask for more precious metals. I see what's going on here. PALL, that's the physical palladium ETF. You do have, and look, this is not for me. Some people love it. You want to call it some sort of it's not even a double bottom, but if you look back to like 2018, this is an area of price memory. Pat, zoom all the
Wait,
way out. Full history on this one. You'll see what I'm talking about.
looking at
Take it
palladium.
all the way out. Like throw up a monthly or something. You're going to go out 15 years.
You know what I was talking to, Bart, James Bartoloni, he was
Yeah.
getting all excited about lithium, and that thing just looks like lit. Thing looks terrible, but he sees a level there.
It's a
Man, this
tough one.
thing.
These rare earth metals, it's a problem area. It's, very similar to the gold miner stuff, the coal mining. It's just high, capital intensive, labor intensive business, prone to all of these mishaps, right? Or, extraordinary events that take place. Something happens with a mine, environmentalists, the government, like just problem area. And with the rare earths, they're trying to do more and more in the United States, but like we just might not be the best country for it. But there's geopolitical concerns, right? It's a national security issue with why are we buying so much from China? So companies are trying to do rare earth things in America. And on balance, none of them are having a really good time with it.
Yeah, I mean, that being said, though, I don't think this, I mean, it's kind of worth your risk and reward here. You
I
buy
was just
your,
I was just ranting about rare earths. These are precious. These are
I
precious.
appreciate that. And I had to plug my computer in. I thought it was about to die, but we're good. Uh,
Actually, Ian will tell you these are actually, palladium's actually an industrial metal. It's like kind of like a gray area in between industrial and precious. And I would argue even silver is too today. Like are we really want silver jewelry? I don't know, but silver's used in a lot of things in the manufacturing process.
well, it's funny because I remember catalytic converters, those things on your car. There was a
That's plate.
huge problem here, yeah, with those with theft back in 2021. You don't hear about it anymore. I don't know if they cracked down on it or if
Just
it's just the
hang
price
out,
of palladium's not as expensive, so they can't get as much. But
hang out in the right neighborhoods.
yeah, right.
They're still talking about it.
So what do we got next? I was gonna pull a lit, but
Next is GLOB for the next 12 months. Alex, again, double dipping here.
have you you heard of this one?
Globant, I have. I don't know what they do. Is this business services, business support services? Pull,
Logan.
pull up the info for me.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead.
Technology services engages in the provision of information. I
Yeah.
love how they word these
This
things.
sounds like professional services. Let me double check. It's become a big catch-all. Information tech. I don't know. Maybe Alex will tell us.
Yeah.
Give us the chart breakdown. Listen, we're not here to tell anybody about what a company does. That's people don't come watch our show for us to give them.
No, but it does help to know what industry it's in. But beyond that, sometimes you can get yourself into trouble being too curious. Uh,
Yin.
There we go. So kind of, I wouldn't really use this as your entry here. I would kind of just use, we'll take that off. Maybe use that as your target. Yeah, keep that level in mind here, 270. But a little more tactically.
The video just went to you, Pat, because I got the YouTube on my other screen, and you were not in the frame at all. Were you like hiding under your desk?
Oh yeah, no. So my computer was about to die, so I had to like grab the yeah. It's
You
always
don't like to make this easy for you, Gene.
always
Okay.
an adventure.
This is a test.
So I would 250. You have a little 1 month base here. Nothing too crazy, but nice constructive action after that huge move here off the lows there. This one, like I said, 270. So if 250 gets you 270, 270 gets you back to former highs around 350, 300.
It's a pretty textbook base, right? Momentum
Yeah.
is in a bullish regime, been in a bullish regime, and it's confirmed above those pivot highs. So
Yeah.
it's highly actionable, close to triggering. New uptrend underway if and when it does. Just throw up the relative trend real quick. I'm curious.
Yeah, absolutely. GLOB. And we still don't know what it does, right? Looks just like the absolute trend.
Good. Moving higher. That's what you want to see. Okay, next. We're moving through here. Yin. 6 months out. If this is those triple inverted Chinese, we're not doing it. Nope.
Yeah, and especially for 3 months. I mean, these are
We're not going
designed
to do
for
it.
day traders.
No, this is irresponsible. We're not going to support this. We're going to look at FXI instead.
Hey, okay. So this one, I've been talking to Arun about this one because any contrarian, you got to be at least paying attention here. Maybe you're not taking anything here, but
So Arun, for everybody, is Patrick's friend. He's like one of the best contrarians, and also, I would say he's the chief Twitter troll.
yeah,
Right?
yeah. I mean, his memes are just a lot of them belong in
The Twitter Hall of Fame.
Yeah, something.
So,
But so okay, so this one's China. You've probably heard it in the news. It's doing terrible. But here we are holding that 20 level in FXI. That level was the 2008 lows and the 2022 lows. If it breaks, you there, just move on. Don't even look at it. But if it holds, and I'd say if it, confirmation, you could use these little December highs as your confirmation. 24 even might be too much, but
everybody wants China. It's sexy to catch a falling knife and pick the bottom,
Yeah.
something like this, especially in something that's talked about so much. We talk way too much about China. There are amazing things going on in India right now. Just incredible. Like their economy is just on absolute fire. They don't have the demographical issues that China does. They don't have at least as dire the regulatory or political issues that China does. Not saying there aren't issues in India. There are lots. Okay.
I would this looks like a chart I want to buy. And this is INDA, the MSCI India ETF.
And now do the small caps. SMIN.
SMIN.
Yeah, India small caps. But yeah, I mean, look at that. Beautiful trend reversal. Now it looks like, Nvidia or any of these leaders.
Are you
Yeah,
kidding me?
small cap India.
Wow.
Everybody just wants to talk about China. Breaks my heart.
No, that's a really good point. I mean, this is really, really nice trend. I know you've been all over some of those Latin America trends too.
Still don't love them, but we want
Yeah.
to be ready. Listen, you want exposure to Asia and you have a long-term time frame. I'm not telling you it's going to outperform this year, but India has, a track record of outperforming internationally in a big way.
Ooh, you're right there.
So I don't know. I think China's a little bit cute right now. There's a lot of stuff going down. I don't know if it gets better and this was the bottom or if it gets far worse from here. And we're talking about how do we delist these stocks?
Oof.
What do we do in the future? But China's just a giant question mark, and it always is. Trade them, don't own them. That's how I feel about China. Okay. Um, Wavy McFly, this is why we love you. LOLOL, Straza is the Pink Ranger. Fine.
Yeah.
I love pink.
I had a crush on the Pink Ranger.
Yeah, always.
Everyone did.
Whatever. So Apple. Let's do Apple.
All right, let's do it. They report today, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Um, I thought
Wait,
yesterday. I
do
thought
they?
yesterday was the big earnings day. Yeah, I think they're today. Yep. I thought
So
yesterday was the big earnings day, but I heard someone call today the big one.
no,
Uh,
it is. It's Meta, Amazon, Apple are all the
today?
same day, I believe.
Ooh. Hey, can we just look at those real quick? The two biggest stocks in the communication sector last week breaking out, and then Google though.
Knock
Google
yourself out. I'm gonna go
looking a
pull up my
little
notes.
sketchy. Not so great here. That I would call that a fail breakdown easily. Did we lose Steve? Um, but yeah, I mean these two largest names. Okay. Um, two largest names in the communication sector. We can look at that. Communications, as strong as it's been, hasn't even reached its former highs yet. But this one got especially hit because Meta is such a big component of it during uh, the bear market in 2022. 50% drawdown for this sector, and here we are, still 11% off the highs, but it's chugging along here. Hey, we lost you.
No, you didn't. I had to pull up my notes.
Okay, you just disappeared. But yeah, we just looked at Google, Meta. You got anything else?
No, yes, actually, you know what I'm interested in the world
Mhm.
of communications?
I
I
know
know,
you want to look at the Mara.
no, sir. Wow, easy, easy now. Give me some Snapchat, your favorite app. This is how Patrick talks to all of his girlfriends. This is the new text messaging for the kids. Have you heard? I'm
I,
serious.
you know,
What are you laughing at? Draw the chart. Draw the chart out and then laugh at it.
this
Look,
is a really nice one.
yeah, so this is I
You can
think
see
Tuesday of
where this
next week.
gap is really causing a problem, but if it starts to fill,
Look out.
yeah. Do you want to
Uh,
here touch on it more?
yeah. So I at our portfolio accelerator last week, we did like a best ideas shindig. And this was mine for this year.
I like it.
Not a stock I ever thought I would be bullish on. In fact, my natural tendencies lead me towards hating a name like this. And I just love it so much. And I'm hearing things and they're using AI and they're trying to figure out some sort of a subscription model where kids are getting their parents to like pay for this thing and it utilizes AI. These big tech companies have so much money right now. Why wouldn't, dude, Google could buy these guys just to make sure they don't make a mistake by not buying these guys
I
and
mean,
never
well, so
talk
Meta would
about
make the most sense to buy. And do you remember when Zuckerberg offered to buy Snap and Evan Spiegel he literally told Zuckerberg to shove it up, up his ass. So,
So again,
but
you know,
I'm sure they're still probably the most logical people to acquire them.
I
Or
mean, it maybe not the most, but like it wouldn't shock anybody, right, for these guys to get gobbled up.
Look at this abandoned baby, Steve.
Yeah.
Just
Uh,
you know,
love it. Oh, I saw one and thought of you the other day. Talk about abandoned baby. Pull up LIN, Lind. This is the largest materials stock listed in the US. LIN, no, LIN.
oh, LAN. Oh, oh man. Just you imagine being long that thing, just the mind fuckery that you go through.
And then it just flatlines after.
Oh man.
Like usually something like that, if it reverses, like you plunge. And it's just
Yeah.
like
Yeah, but yeah, exactly. You didn't even get killed after. It's just a big middle finger. It's just a psych.
that's the
Wow.
middle finger candle. All right,
Yeah.
we're gonna get through these. We're almost done. We got 10 minutes to go.
All right.
KRE, listen, we more or less already did it for you guys.
Well, here, why don't we look at the Russell? Because I think every time I hear regionals, I think of the Russell because
Here's what I'll say. Let me just give a hot take on KRE right now.
yeah,
There are regional banks who are going to be just fine. There are leaders, Merchants Bank, Customers Bank Corp, The Bank Corp, TBBK, right? There's some really, really strong ones that are dipping and giving people probably a great entry, right? To get in a trend that's probably completely unaffected by all this stuff that's going on with New York Community Bank and some of these West Coast banks. I'm hearing some murmurs today that's maybe we're going to hear more about like Western Alliance and some other ones.
what's the ticker for that?
WAL. People are talking, is all I'll say.
Ugh.
It's getting gobbled up, which is good to see it off the lows like this. But look at what happened the last two bank blowups. Go to the
Yeah,
side of that screen. See, this one gets killed. It's a
38% decline.
so there are high risk ways to play the regional banks, and there are lower risk ways to play the regional banks, right? U.S. Bank, Bank of New York Mellon, right? Go with a quality regional who's getting hit just in sympathy because they're all getting hit today, but it's fine and it's insulated from all this mess. Go with one of those. I wouldn't even use the index because the index runs a risk of being dragged down by a large holding that gets in trouble, right? I would go find a safe one, use the selling pressure of the last 2 days as a buying opportunity to get long one of the leaders in the space. But I wouldn't go trying to get risky buying one of these ones with balance sheet problems.
Yeah, look at this though. That's really nice comeback here. Again, we got to see where it closes, but so far looking good.
Again, it's almost as if the market has seen this story before and now knows what to do this time.
Yeah.
So can NYCB be gone by the time we get to our desks on Monday and they auctioned off all the assets on a Saturday or Sunday like they did with the last two? Absolutely. Maybe it is. And can the rest be just fine? Yeah, they probably will be. And
Then
people
Steve,
say
look at
things
that.
like,
Like back in March, it looks like you had, I mean, it's basically kind of like what you're describing, where we went into the weekend, everybody's just freaking out, thinking
they,
this thing's going to go bankrupt. And then what happened on Monday?
they bought some of Signature Bank.
31% gap.
They bought some of Signature Bank's deposit and loan books.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
These guys are one of the banks that bought one of the failed banks for pennies on the dollar, and now they're like, "Oh God, we're in trouble too." And
Is
they're
that
trying to
their, so
blame
that's
it.
their problem now, right?
Yeah, they're trying to blame it on the fact that they got too big and now have new regulations to deal with. But I mean, the compliance departments, the regulatory departments, the public reporting departments at these companies are massive. With people who have been there and know what to
Yeah.
do. So I don't buy that for a second. Next, let's hit Qualcomm. Somebody
All
made a
right.
comment to me, Pat. Qualcomm, I like it because it's not mixed in with this AI hype. I think you want to be careful with that, right? If you want to talk about 3D printing hype or robotics hype or blockchain hype, even like fine, but the AI stuff is no longer hype. Like we have the data. Like companies are making some big moves using AI. You're seeing it just the last quarter or two, right? Where it's not just Nvidia now making money off of this. Microsoft, 6% of its 30% cloud growth came from AI. This is very material stuff that's going on right now. The layoffs that we're getting. These companies that are announcing layoffs, at least most of them, I'm not talking about you, Zoom, and the 100 employees that you just laid off, but Microsoft, Amazon, why are they laying off employees? They're done right sizing. They're laying off employees because they're already recognizing internal efficiency improvements from AI, and they're just cutting headcount because they can. So AI, I don't think it's hype. And the fact that Qualcomm maybe isn't involved is not a good thing, but a bad thing.
Yeah, and I haven't been following them, but I know they've been in the news the last couple days. I think it was earnings. Okay, so yeah, you got kind of a fake out here around earnings. Yeah, it's a messy one, and on a relative basis too, I don't really see a reason that this one in particular deserves some attention here. But if you had to play it, I would lean on these year-to-date lows here. If it's below there, definitely wouldn't touch it, but maybe you call this a retest from these highs. Yeah, it's a messy one, Steve. I just don't know that you want to be involved in this one. I think ultimately it will get back to the former highs, but we're talking not till like later this year, like Q4, if all goes well, right? And it's going to be this kind of tough process. And
I agree
I'm
with you.
what's up?
I agree with you. Pat, are
Yeah.
we dealing with a monster intraday reversal right now
On in stocks
on everything?
and everything.
Everything is turning green on the day?
Well, everything was up when we started.
Wow. Okay.
Look at that.
Wow. Um,
So we're pretty much where we opened yesterday. So all the Powell stuff erased, right?
Very interesting. Look at if you just want to pull up right now, I'm glad, we get to do this live.
Yeah.
WM and zoom way in on today's candle and just show that indecision. This is classic.
Oh my gosh. What do they call those? Tweezer candles or something?
I said IWM.
Oh, okay, I thought. But oh no, yeah. Hammer. But did you see WM?
Yeah,
That was
WM.
the same, indecision.
Wow. Okay. A lot of movement here today. Really interesting. Let's hit one more before we get out. KOD, Baker Bros. And then we'll do one more. We'll finish
Oh,
with
look
Merck.
at that stick in biotech.
So
Uh,
there's
so
just such good questions that we get in this chat sometimes. I
what
love the question about Zscaler and CrowdStrike. You're thinking the right way. I
what
see you,
which
Adam.
one did you just mention? Baker Bros?
Baker Bros, the top dogs in biotech on Wall Street. They are long this one.
They,
KO.
what is it? KOD?
Yeah, Kodiak, I think it is. Yeah.
Oh wow. Oh, so they're buying, huh?
This one is scoop worthy.
The scoop and score. I like it. Very gappy, right? These earnings are just creating a real headache for people, but
Very
they can
scoopy.
also be your best friend if they start filling, right?
That's right.
Um, yeah, so if this one's above these gap highs, which is $4 gets you $7. I think you play that one back, the whole gap here. And then you're looking for 12. 12 fills, then you're looking at 50.
I mean,
But that's getting
listen,
ahead of ourselves.
that's for the experienced traders, but there might be something there, for sure. What's the market cap on this thing? Yeah, we shouldn't even be talking about this, but we did.
Oh, okay. What's
Uh,
short interest? But yeah,
Nothing. It's
if,
too
if
small.
you, if you said this is not even worth it, then
It's even too small to short, right? Like there's a cost to carry and things are hard to borrow and sometimes you have to pay too much. This is one of those names. It's just too small.
yeah.
Before we move on, uh, we could hit Mara, Pat, hit Mara real quick. Just, I don't want to, I've been very involved in this one the past few days. I don't want to talk too much about it. I'm very long. I think you need 19. I'm trying to jump it here. The tape I think has been really interesting for these Bitcoin miners. They were green first this morning when everything else was red.
That's a good sign for crypto in general after the last few
Yeah.
weeks it's had.
So I think they want it, but high risk, high reward setup right here.
You got anything else? You know,
Yeah.
Tesla was the worst performing stock in the S&P in January.
Listen, do CLF real quick. Sorry, guys, I'm gonna have to skip some. FCX is a mess, Josh. You could find better vehicles right now. I don't know exactly what your goal is, but FCX is a tough one. I traded it during the last Fed meeting, but that thing's still real rangy.
Cleveland's tough here. I would say 22 is your level. Oh, sorry. 23. And if 23 gets you 33.
I like the way you just drew right through that mess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. Some of these guys are perking up. I would look at steel. Steel is the leader right now, right? Look within steel.
Um,
Or steel
nice.
dynamics.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about steel ETF.
I
Nice
am.
retest
I am.
though.
Also the
Oh, okay.
components. The other material subgroups don't look like this, right?
Right. Oh, wow. Yeah, this is steel dynamics here. That's a weekly, but man, takes out those highs. I mean, that looks like a strong, nice uptrend, and
Yeah.
it's been basing since for what, almost a year now, since last February.
Z-scaler, do a Z-scaler versus CrowdStrike ratio, ZS versus CRWD.
Yeah. Oof,
So you
choppy.
want the CrowdStrike, right?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess you want the crowd strike.
And now pull it up because I think you have a really, just clean and well-defined entry in CRWD on an absolute basis. There you go.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know this one looked this good.
Listen, this is probably the most exciting story in cyber right now. Maybe the strongest subgroup of the trailing quarter.
Steve, this might be the nicest chart. Who brought this one up? This is one of the nicest charts I've seen today.
I'm involved. I love this
You're
name.
involved.
Yeah,
Nice.
big fundamental story here too.
What's the story? Yeah, because sorry, I interrupted you. You were saying it's exciting. Why is that?
No, these guys are poised to be, the leaders, or at least, in that conversation with the leadership names in cybersecurity.
Are they one of the bigger ones, like in hack or?
They're getting there. It's still like kind of dominated by Palo Alto and some others, but
Yeah, this one 300 gets you 425. Wow.
and then it's also like, listen, this is 72 billion at this point. So already, for the most part, in terms of pure plays, already second largest to Palo Alto.
Oh wow.
I think there's probably more beta here, more upside. This company's growing at a different clip, than Palo Alto. And then Zscaler, absolutely. It's also in that conversation, 35 billion. Listen, if the question that you're asking yourself and why this request came about is because you're looking for the best name in cybersecurity, then you're on the right track here, right? You're doing the right thing. You're asking the right question. So any one of these names, Zscaler, CrowdStrike, Palo Alto, they all look great, and there are others. So Pat, let's just round this thing out because we have gone
Yeah.
over. Steve, tell us about crypto miners. Balls low. Whew. I don't know. I think they're not crypto miners. They're Bitcoin miners, right? So that's very important. They make money when Bitcoin rises, not when Solana or other cryptos rise. So I think the Bitcoin miners are kind of telling us something today. They did not want to sell off like everything else sold off yesterday afternoon and open lower this morning. The crypto miners or the Bitcoin miners really held in there. So maybe there's something there, but we got to see it, right? We got to see it in the Bitcoin chart. D-Dog looks solid. Justin, 100%. Justin's a great stock picker. Give him a follow. Justin Spittler, he was on the morning show.
Oh, Justin, what's going on?
Yeah,
He's
so
got great
Dog.
charts.
I'm long dated dog disclosure. Bought that reversal pattern. Love the D-Dog. Reminds
Yeah,
me of Path.
yeah,
Slow,
this is a nice one.
slow to get out of this base, kind of like Path, but let's stay the course here. The
Um,
reversal's in.
I don't know if you saw there, Steve. I had hack up. I mean, this kind of looks, CrowdStrike looks a little further along in the base. It's a little more
Yeah.
complete, but this is pretty good.
And
It's
then,
getting
oh, dude, it's great. It's great. And what did I want to say here? We got to shut this thing down. I love it how the comments come in towards the end, like when we're trying to go, because I can't keep up. So Immunocore, IMCR, throw it up, Pat. Moving up on big volume last 2 days. I know a little earnings dip, a little dip to get some.
Yep.
I love that was earnings. That was earnings.
I was just about to say some of the best trends. I forget which chart we had up. I think it was the India small caps. It had this exact same feature where you punch right through it. It held for a while, and then you punch right through it just to freak everyone out, and then you wreck.
This is the classic earnings shake and get some. Like this thing, and when you zoom out, you see this clearly defined level, making a, would you call this decisive, Pat?
I would call it decisive, yeah.
And then the big sticks.
Yeah.
Absolutely decisive breakout. I am very long. This is my favorite biotech right now. Baker Bros, you're right. Maybe they are buying some. Maybe we get a filing. We talk about it on the hot corner tomorrow. That is it for today. Thank you, everyone, as always, for joining us and bringing us all the great chart requests. Patrick and I have such a blast doing this every week, twice a week. So join us again Tuesday at 1 o'clock. That will be our next chart request live segment. And until then, join us on the morning show every morning, 8:30 to 10 o'clock, right here on Stock Market TV. Everybody, have a great rest of your week and an even better weekend. Thanks, Pat.
Yeah. Cheers. Thank you guys so much.